Good afternoon to you, Black Ice, here in Jamaica from Chicago, Illinois, international spoken word life artist. I love Jamaica. I love being here, and I appreciate you for having me on Irie FM.
It is my pleasure. All right, we're going to start with what actually brought you here. And we just want to say congratulations on getting married. And
Yes.
I'm looking at your absolutely beautiful wife, Blaq Irie.
Yes. So every year I'm in Jamaica in the month of May, the last weekend in May, and it is a concert called Fiesta and Ecstasy. And I am part of the entertainment on that concert, Fiesta and Ecstasy. So last year, my queen and I, Black Isis and I, we were talking about when we were on the tour last year that maybe this would be the year, 2018, that we would do the wedding when we come back for the Fiesta and Ecstasy event. And so we said, yeah, we'll do Blackout 2018 and we'll do the wedding. And so in addition to the Fiesta and Ecstasy event, I got a chance to do something here on the beautiful island of Jamaica, marry the love of my life, my queen, Black Isis.
She is looking absolutely beautiful. Could you please tell her that I am just...
She is listening to you right now.
I love your dress. It is gorgeous. You are fabulous. So, that is really beautiful. It's so very nice to see these two beautiful black people joining together in wedded bliss. Yeah, man. Nice, man. All right. So, that's that. So, what nationality are you? And tell me a little bit about Black Ice.
Well, let me just start off by saying this. Today, my son was asked the question by his teacher to draw a picture of his hero. And after thinking for a moment about who made the most De Niro, he drew a picture of me in a mirror. Came home and he posted it on the refrigerator door. And when I saw it, it touched me to the core. I was outdone. There's nothing more than a father wants to hear than admirations from his son. So that night as I tucked him in, I wanted to be crystal clear. So I sincerely whispered in his ear, "Son, I love you." And yawning with his hands in front of his mouth, he said, "Daddy, I love you too." As he laid in front of me, I was touched. It was like a needle had stuck me in my arm and my blood was right in front of me. So I thought to myself, I wonder, does he really know for me what he has done? And does he know that I never could have been a father until he made me one? And that until he was born, I never really knew me. And that I didn't know a thing about responsibility until he gave it to me. So when I think about how far he has come, and despite all the obstacles, everything that he has achieved and done, my son may consider me to be his hero. But to me, my hero is my son. I am Black Ice, ladies and gentlemen. I am from Chicago. We are called African American in Chicago, but we don't accept that title. We are the true chosen people of God, the Israelites, the lost sheep of the Bible. So when you talk about the nationality, I have to say that I am an Israelite, a black Israelite that live in America, and I am here at home with my brothers and sisters, my Israelite brothers and sisters of Jamaica.
Why poetry?
Why poetry? Because poetry gives me an opportunity to express how I feel. Instead of me going out there using drugs or doing something destructive, it gives me an opportunity to write those feelings, those hurts, those pains, those experiences. And in America, we say we right our wrongs down on paper. So poetry saved my life.
Okay, I hear you. I know that you have been organizing poetry competitions or poetry shows in Chicago. Talk to us about that.
Yes, we are one of the largest promoters of spoken word in America. And there is a show that I throw called Kings of Poetry and Queens of Poetry, in which we honor those veterans that have been on the spoken word poetry scene for some time. And then we have other shows called Heirs to the Throne, which are more for the newcomers that are on the scene. But in addition to that, bringing the poets into the schools, bringing the poets into the prisons, bringing the poets into the homeless shelters and the community so that we can use our words to uplift and inspire and motivate. These are the things that my organization, Poet, People of Extraordinary Talent, is organized and created to do.
Wonderful. Okay, so you mentioned uplifting and inspiring, and particularly in the space where people are being incarcerated.
Yes.
How do you find poetry as a means of expression to free people like these of the anger that Babylon system really caused?
Well, the beautiful thing is that you can lock up someone's physical body, but you cannot lock up someone's physical mind. So when we go to these places where people are locked up mentally, and we explain to them through our poetry that I, Black Ice, lost a son at the age of 15 years old to cancer, but I'm fighting that with my poetry. I'm releasing myself from the bondage of this loss. When other people that are in the organization talked about themselves being in prison and being former drug addicts or being former alcoholics, and how with the help of God that you can get through these things. You may not be able to get through them today, but as long as you work towards a solution, you can free your mind of the bondage of depression, of anger, of bitterness, of drug addiction, of alcohol addiction, and any of those things. Use your test to become your testimony, and use your mess to become your message.
Absolutely. Obviously, you are a wonderful inspirational speaker. How do you speak to the people like, the ones that you just described, and how do they respond?
Well, they respond as someone who has lived in the same communities that they have lived, have been through some of the same things that they have been through. So when you go to a place where they are treating drug addicts or people who are suffering from alcoholism, you use the people who have been there before. So the person that's speaking before you is someone who's walked that journey, who's been through that fire, and who has experienced those type of things. So God qualifies us all in our struggle, in our test, to become weaponized as a weapon used against those things that they're dealing with today.
Absolutely. Poetry and the poetry fraternity in Jamaica is growing leaps and bounds. You said you have been here before, you're constantly here, so you understand a bit of the culture of the people here of Jamaica. Do you think that what poetry is doing in Chicago, it can do in Jamaica?
Well, not only are we in Chicago with the organization, we are all around the world. We are in Canada, we are in Ghana, Africa, we have chapters there, and we just began a new chapter through our ambassador and representative, Richie Innocent, and we will be developing a chapter of the Poet Organization right here on the island of Jamaica, because again, individually, we are great, but collectively, we are powerful, and we're not too different as a people. So what works in the inner cities of Chicago can also work on the island of Jamaica.
For real. How would you describe a poet? Who is a poet?
Well, a poet is actually anyone who is able to express him or herself creatively. Now, what we do is called spoken word. The difference between spoken word and poetry is that every spoken word artist is a poet, but every poet is not a spoken word artist. A spoken word artist performs his or her poetry. So it's more of a theatric type of thing, like when you would go see a stage play and they would project their lines and perform their words. That's what we do as spoken word artists. So when you talk about a poet, anyone can be a poet. But when you talk about spoken word, it's those of us who perform the poems that we write.
I hear you. And for those of you who perform the poetry that you write, how much of a difference does it make when you take it off the pages of a book and present it?
Oh my God, it's like bringing something that's dead to life. I mean, it starts from the mind, and then it goes to the pen, and then the pen has a relationship to the paper, and then when you can memorize those things and commit them to memory, oh my God, it's a presentation like none you've ever seen before. Bob Marley was one of the most beautiful poets that I've ever seen in my life. Martin Luther King was one of the most beautiful poets that I've ever seen in my life. Barack Obama. So when you take that poetry from the paper and memorize it and articulate it and share it that way, it's like nothing you've ever seen before in your life. It is poetry in motion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I noticed that you added that word memorize it.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a lot of hard work, especially the older you become. It's harder to memorize, but it shows the dedication that one has with cultivating their art. And as I said before, you just feel it differently when someone is saying something that they've committed to memory. It becomes a part of themselves even that more.
Absolutely. And there is something else that I recognize when you can actually memorize it. You are now free of all the papers, and you can now go straight to those who are listening, and you can articulate it in a way that they really do understand the feel of your poetry.
Absolutely. You know, the regular paper has lines on them, and you write your words on lines. Well, those lines are also looked at as bars. So when you can release yourself from the bars of the paper, from the lines of the paper, then you are free, truly indeed, to express the feelings from your heart.
Absolutely. That is so true. What inspires your poetry?
Life. Man, just life. To be open, to be honest, to be naked, to be transparent with my feelings is one of the greatest feelings in the world. And I'm not ashamed to talk about the things that I've been through or the things that I'm going through. I'm not ashamed to talk about it. And in return, what it does, it begins to heal those who are listening to my experiences, and it makes them free of the fear of expressing themselves when they hear me express my ups, my downs, my right and my wrongs, and the things that I've experienced and been through in my life.
Absolutely. It actually legitimizes it. And you know, when someone as powerful as you can go before people who are perhaps skeptic for whatever reason, Babylon system, you know, man, create all kind of insecurity in us. But when somebody like you who is so powerful can say, this is what I've been through, I'm not ashamed, I'm actually speaking out loud, what an inspiration that is.
Yes, yes. And it, like I said, it's a transforming type of a spirit, not just for those who are listening, but for me and for those who recite. It also transforms us and heals us to begin the process of getting over the things that we're dealing with.
Absolutely. And to be fearless about it.
Yes.
Yes, because a lot of times we have been taught, because of the colonial system, to be secretive, be ashamed, afraid. And poetry really gets rid of all of that and says, no, speak out. And speak out with bravery. Okay, so your word sound is powerful.
Thank you.
Take us through another of your poems.
This is called The Elevator. There's this elevator, right? It's full of people. Some family, some friends, some strangers. But you're all in the basement. See, the basement represents that brand new idea that was blessed to be manifested in your mind. But by the time you share your idea with the 10 people standing in the elevator next to you, some of them get off before the door even opens. Sort of like those so-called friends. The ones who you thought would be there through thick and thin down to the end. Didn't even make it to the first floor. The door closes. The elevator rises. Much to your surprise, you're making progress. The bell rings. You're at the first floor. The door opens, and guess what happens next? Those childhood friends, well, they got goals of their own. Time for you to be strong, because you're going to lose some of these friends during this ride and feel alone. But as they walk out, a few more friends walk in. You started off with 10, but now you're down to 8. Now, one of the new friends who just walked in pressed floor 2. So you know what that means? The next time the elevator door opens, they'll be going too. But before they left, they introduced you to one of their friends who became your friend. Then y'all became close like kin. The door opens at floor 2. You lose a few. But one man walks in and he becomes your boyfriend. And now we're down to 7. Now only 4 out of the 7 are the original occupants that you begin with. In all, there are 2 strangers, 1 cousin, 1 friend, your mom, 1 new friend, and a boyfriend. Now the elevator passes floor 3. Seems like life is finally looking up. But just as soon as you get comfortable, you're at the 4th floor and a door opens up. You're staring death right in the face. Quickly you step back. He reaches in his arm and unexpectedly takes your mom. Everyone in the elevator consoles you. But this takes an emotional toll on you and your relationship. Everything you ever believed in or ever knew about is in doubt. You become so emotionally cold that right before the doors close, your boyfriend walks out. What's to expect by floor 5? Now, what just happened on the 4th floor was a game changer, but by the time floor 5 arrives, you will lose one of those strangers. But before he leaves, he whispers to you, there's something that I hope that you see. She said, what's that? That God wants you to go through everything that you're going through in order for you to get to where he wants you to be. He leaves. 4 remains. Only one more floor to go. But between the 5th and the 6th floor, you notice something. The other stranger reaches around you and hits the stop button. Everything is frozen except you and him. He says, it's time for us to talk. Now, Elise, I've been here since the beginning. I've seen everything that happened, and not once did you ever acknowledge me. I even gave you words of comfort when you lost your mommy. I thought at that point you would want to get to know me. Look around. Out of the 10 that you started out with, there's only a few. Now you have a choice of 2. You can continue on. Use the experience of what you've been through to help heal, or you can do what you've been thinking. Go in that purse and take those pills. She said, no, I want to live. Then you need to learn how to forgive. She now knew who she was talking to. She takes a deep breath and asks for forgiveness. But he said, I'll forgive you when you learn how to forgive yourself. He pressed the button. The bell rings. The door opens at the 6th floor. To your surprise, your ex-boyfriend is standing there, offer you his hand. You turn right around, look at that man right in the face, and smile. Out of the many people that came into your life, you're going to lose the majority. Expect for the ones closest to you to disappoint you, let you down, betray you, but don't you change, stay you. And at the end of the day, when you place your family and friends before God, he will remove them to show you that he's a jealous God, and none should be placed before him. Trust him to know that he will replace everything stolen, restore everything lost, and heal everything broken. In life, you're going to have some knockdowns on the way up, but it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. The elevator. That's that piece.
Oh my goodness. Amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. You know, I cannot go in an elevator again. Same way that I've been there before.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. Look at how powerful the word is.
Yes.
I mean, you could have said that in a different way with absolutely no impact. But
Yes.
the way you've done it, the way you've used words, so many floors, so many layers.
Yes.
That's life.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I got to thank God for this gift, man. I become inspired to write by feeling. I can't just sit down and just say, I want to write something today. No, I have to be moved to write. So I write in the spirit. And when I allow the spirit to take over my pen, things like the elevator comes out.
Oh, you know, the question I was going to ask you answered it. Write in the spirit.
Yes.
I was going
Yes.
to ask you, how much of a part does the spirit play in your writing?
Yes. It's everything. It's everything. I wake up sometimes in the middle of the night with ideas, and I have to pick up the phone and write down the idea, because I know if I go back to sleep and wake up in the morning, the idea may be gone. So I get bricks. The ideas is what I call bricks. And what I do is with that brick, I begin to build around the theme and build around the concept, but it's all inspired.
Wonderful to meet you.
Yes, you
Most
too.
have never heard your poetry before like myself. How could they ever forget Black Eyes?
Man, I just want to tell everybody, so there is no confusion for those who are listening. The correct spelling of my name is Blaq. Be a leader, ask questions. BlaqIce, Black Ice. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. And I would love to connect to each and every one of my Jamaican brothers and sisters. Every time I'm here, I feel like I'm home.
I can just imagine.
Yes.
You feel like one of us. You are powerful. Very nice to meet you. And once again, could you send my love to your beautiful empress?
I will do so. I definitely, before I leave, I just want to thank Richie Innocent, our poet organization ambassador. If you're interested in joining the organization, get in contact with him. And also Alexandria Love. I performed a duet with her. I performed with Tifa at Margaritaville while I was here. And it's just been a beautiful thing. We're staying at Deja Resort, and we got married on Secrets Resort. So everyone, I want to say thank you for welcoming us with open arms and rolling out the red carpet. And I definitely want to thank you, sis, for giving me the opportunity to speak to my brothers and sisters of Jamaica.
It was our pleasure. Thanks for the inspiration.
Thank you.
Black Ice, the king of poetry. What an inspiration. What a powerful speaker. Once again, Richie, thank you so very much for bringing our attention to this powerful man, Blaq, B-L-A-Q, Ice. Amazing. Good, one child, part.
Okay, guys, you've heard the full extended video. I had a few stumbles there, but you know, man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful to be embraced by my second home, Jamaica. Got my queen and wife. Hey, wife. And it's this whole trip has been a blessing, man. So again, I want to thank our Jamaican ambassador, Richie Innocent. I want to thank Irie FM. I want to thank Alexandria Love, who performed a beautiful duet with me. I want to thank Fiesta and Ecstasy Tone International, the Deja Resorts, Secrets Resorts, the Chicago family who came down to support us for the wedding, and everybody, man. There was no big eyes or little U's out there. Everybody made this thing beautiful and exciting for us. Peace and blessings, y'all. We out.